Greetings and salutations, humans. Welcome to the channel. This is your host, Putinbot. And today we're going to be doing a champion spotlight on a epic champion that I just recently got. And I've got to admit, I am impressed. And I am talking about Sachi. Sachi is a Force epic. About a month ago, Plarium redid Sachi's model. Before, she used to be in a squat, she was twirling her weapon, and now she's just kind of sitting there with a serious look on her face. Aesthetically, her model looks really good. She definitely has that ninja-esque feel about it. She's got this weapon. It's called a Kasari Gama, if my Japanese is correct. She has a whole ninja motive going on, and I've got to admit, I've built her out, and I was impressed with the amount of damage that she's able to do for a support-based champion. And let's just kind of go into it real quick. Let's start first with the gear, since you already see what we've got going on here. I've got her in 2 speed sets, and then 2 broken pieces. And as you can see, the weapon and the shield, they're not rolled up. I'm going to wait for the next clan versus clan before I 6-star them. Let's take a look here at her total stats. Her attack is just a hair under 4,000. Her defense is 2,008. Speed is 221. Crit rate is 102%, and her crit damage is 220. I do want to get Sachi's crit damage up higher, but right now that's as high as I can get it with the available gear that I have. And it is important for her to hit hard, and I'm going to explain to y'all why here in her skills. We're going to start with her passive. Sachi is the only reviver for the Shadowkin faction. And for her res to work, she has to kill someone. Now, the second part of her passive is really interesting. She has a 50% chance of placing a fear debuff on all enemies for 1 turn whenever an ally is revived. She does not have to be the one placing the revive for this passive to proc. If you're running her in general content with another reser, if someone gets picked up, her passive has a chance to proc. Her A2, Shadow Ambush, she places a 50% increased attack buff on all allies for 2 turns, then attacks 1 enemy. Fills the turn meter of all allies by 20% if this attack is critical. You need all of Sachi's hits to crit. It is important that you do enough damage to be able to pick someone up, unless Plarium comes out with another champion between now and the faction wars opening up. She's going to be the only reser for the faction, so she's got to be able to lay down some damage. Her A2 attacks 1 enemy, has a 75% chance of placing a 30% decreased crit rate debuff and a leech debuff for 2 turns. In PvE content, decreased crit rate is not going to be very helpful, but in the arena though, it can be, because in the arena, everyone's going to be running with 100% crit. If you're able to drop that down, you're able to just kind of neuter the enemy's offense, and that just gives you a huge advantage. Then let's go with her A1. She attacks all enemies, so having an AoE on that A1 is great. It is great. Has a 40% chance of placing a 50% decreased accuracy buff for 2 turns, and that buffs up to 50%. Now, one of the things that I want to point out is that it is very, very important that Sachi be booked. In addition to being the only reser for the Shadowkin faction, she also has her A2 with a 2-turn cooldown with the leech that's going to help your team stay alive with heals. She's also have the increased attack, and that's on a 3-turn cooldown when booked. And then having that decreased accuracy debuff is just going to be huge. That's going to be basically like running more resistance on your team than what you'd be running otherwise. Back when I first started playing Raid, decreased accuracy was just looked at as kind of like a crap debuff. Now, especially with Doom Tower, it is one of the best debuffs that you can have. and don't sleep on it. So it's unfortunate that Sachi needs to be booked. She likes to read. And she takes 4 here on her A1, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. She takes 16 books. But she's one of those champions, though, she needs them. If you're going to be running her, Sachi needs to be booked. Now, another really cool thing about Sachi, and I'll go into her masteries here in just a second. With this A3, you can also use her in the arena. She does that increased attack roll, and then she has that turn meter buff on for your team, just helping you go ahead faster. So if you don't have a seeker, if you don't have someone else in that role, like say an apothecary, then take Sachi instead. Granted, she's not going to have the speed buff, but having the attack up plus the turn meter boost comes in pretty handy. Let's go into masteries. I'll show you how I've got mine mastered out. I went through offense and support. There is an argument made by going down defense and then pushing down for retribution because of that AoE on her A1. There's also an argument made about having her running in a stun set because of her A1. I opted to go this way because I want her going fast, just to get more turns, just to try and get more killing blows. In turn, going to allow me to get a chance to proc those reses. I did go down to Spirit Haste, and I did go ahead and get the 2 accuracy. The 2 accuracy masteries here in the first part of this tree. I did go with Exalted Death, just that way, just get a chance to get some extra healing. And I also went to Cycle Magic, just to get a chance to get a cooldown reduced on a skill. I did end up going down War Master with that AoE on her A1. I went Deadly Precision. I went Keen Strike. And I did go down to Methodical, just to get a chance on that A1. I also went with Whirlwind of Death. Speed increases by 6 for each enemy killed by this champion. Again, I'm building her to hit. So the more people that she's able to put into the dirt, the faster she's going to get. That's just going to help me hopefully be able to proc her passive to get that res off. And also with Cycle of Violence, as I have that 30% chance of decreasing the cooldown of a random skill by 1 turn if she does more than 30% of the target's max HP. I also went with Kill Streak, just again for that extra passive damage, and then we would bring it down. So basically, I'm just pushing her for damage. Now, let's go ahead and let's hop in and let's do a comparison real quick in Dragon 20. And whoops, that's not where we're going. Let's jump into Dragon 20 real quick. And we're going to do a damage comparison between her and Alika and a couple of other champions. And we're just going to do a little bit of comparison on damage for these champions and see how hard it is that they hit. So I'll be right back with the team. Okay, so here's the team we're going to run. We got Frozen Banshee in the lead. She has an accuracy aura. We're going to use Thylicia for our defense down. We are then going to use Skyle for passive healing, reses, and crowd control. And then we're going to compare damage between Alika and Sachi, and we're going to see how hard it is that they hit. We're going to do a damage comparison real quick. So I'm going to hop in. I'm going to take this off of auto and also slow down the speed to 1x speed. Okay, so here is the stun. So we got 1 stun off. Let's do the... So we'll go ahead and we'll do the A1 on them once we get over there to them. Just defense down. Okay, now keep in mind, Sachi has an AoE A1, and Alika, she has the chance of hitting 1 target twice. So let's see. It's about 20,000 damage, give or take, across the board. It's 20, 40, 60, 70. Let's just call it 80k. Now we'll do Alika's A1. Let's hit this Horden. So it's comparable. Alika did let's call it 90,000 damage on one target. And Sachi, she went through and she nailed all of the enemy for 80. And also you'll notice we've got that decreased accuracy buff or debuff on the enemy here. And then we'll just, let's go and do turn meter real quick. Now we'll spread and hex, and I've also have Alicia in a stun set. That's why we got some more stuns out. So now let's go ahead and do her A2. Let's go ahead and hit this apothecary. I don't know what, say 40,000, give or take. I didn't catch it. Now we will use Alika. We'll use her A2. And let's just go ahead and hit. So 75k there. So Alika's A2, I'm pretty sure did double the damage, or not quite double the damage of Sachi's A2. Let's go ahead and defense down again. Now let's see here. Let's go ahead and do this hit against the Tyrell. So with the proc, we'll call it 50k. Now Alika, she's going to be using an A3 here. This is an AoE, so it's not really going to be a fair test. Let's just get through, get our skills reset. I don't want to do the remaining ability until we have defense down up. Just do this A1 again. Having that AoE up there is really nice. Got to admit, I'm a big fan of it. Okay, let's throw out the stuns. Got a couple of them. Let's do a defense down. This is Sachi's biggest hit move. So let's just go and do the A3 again. We're going to compare this with Alika's A2. So we'll have her hit this Horden. This is 65k. We'll hit this Horden over here with Alika. 126. So as y'all can see, Alika is definitely doing more damage. The flip side of it is, though, is that Alika is an attack-based champion. Sachi isn't. She's a support champ with turn meter boost. Now, watch this. Here's Sachi's passive. We're going to go ahead and pick up Frozen Banshee. Look at the fears. She feared nearly, she feared what? 3? Yeah, she feared 3 out of the 5 of the enemy. Now we're going to spread and extend those debuffs and kill someone for good measure. And now we'll just go ahead and we'll single target this. Yeah, so 48k. And let's go ahead and hit this apothecary. 118. So we'll just go ahead and auto it here. As y'all can see, for a support-based champion, Sachi is doing some good work. She's doing some decent damage. I'm going to run this through again once we kill this dragon. And I'm going to do it on full auto. So that way y'all be able to see the comparison yourselves about how this works. And there's the leech. So we've got some extra healing from that debuff that she's putting up. I mean, yeah, I mean, this dragon is toast. Now, I will be totally honest with you. For a support-based champion, I expected Sachi to do a little bit less damage. And I just realized I did not go over her gear with y'all. I went over her total stats. So I will go over her gear, and then I'll come back here in the dragon, and then I will do the full auto run for y'all to be able to see. I mean, all in all, I'm impressed with her. So let's see. So Alika did 1,190,000 damage. Sachi did 1,031,551. So about 100,000 behind Alika. But Alika is an attack-based champion with some crazy modifiers, and I've got her in good gear. So, I mean, I'm impressed. I think she's able to do some work for us. Now let's go in. Let's take a look and see what this is. Accuracy, crit rate, defense, 5-star. We'll keep it because of crit rate and accuracy. Let me go ahead and hop in real quick, and I will show y'all her gear. I do apologize. That was just me being a moron. So I've got her in speed boots. I've got her in an attack chest. I've got her in crit damage gauntlets. You need to have your Sachi in crit damage gauntlets if at all possible. Especially if she's going to be your reser. She's got to get the killing blow, or you're going to have problems. I've got crit rate and hit points on the shield, and basically what I've done is I got crit rate and crit damage wherever I'm able to from other sets. And there we see we got the crit rate from this weapon here. I've got her in I've got her in an attack banner. Now for Doom Tower, Doom Tower hard, let me rephrase. She's going to need well over 300 accuracy to land that fear, if that's what you're looking to do. Me personally, I'm not running Sachi for her debuffs. I mean, if she gets them, so much the better. I'm running Sachi to get as much damage out of her as I can, in addition to that turn meter boost. I've got her in crit damage amulet. I've got her in an attack ring. And again, just going to just show her total stats. 27,000 health, just under 4K attack, 2,008 defense, 221 speed, and 220 crit rate. Now, what I do whenever I do run her in teams where I need that accuracy, where I care about it, like in traditional dungeons, I run someone in the lead that has an accuracy aura, like Frozen Banshee, like what y'all just saw, Contra. Someone else just has that buff. Drexstar in Doom Tower or wherever. Now let's just go ahead and hop in, and we will do. Let's just hop in. We'll do dungeons again. We're just going to do Dragon 20 again, just for grins and giggles. Actually, yeah, let's just do Dragon 20. And I will be quiet. I'll run this through on auto, so you'll be able to see, and we'll go from there. It's about like it was the last run. Alika comes in at just under 1.2 million damage. Sachi breaks just over 1 million. Frozen Banshee, she comes in, she does 880,000. She does her work against the boss. And again, for a support-based champion, I've got to admit, I'm impressed. I mean, she does bring a lot to the table. She brings the leech, that way has some extra healing. She has that decreased accuracy buff on her A1, which is an AoE, which helps a whole lot. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. That's crap. Let's go ahead and do this. Let's do this on Dragon 25. It's going to be a little bit of a longer run. That said, it should be able to give Sachi more of a chance to really bring her kit in to bear. So let's take a look here and see how we're going to build the team. We're going to bring in Blind Seer. She's going to be our defense. She's also going to be our primary reser. Let's bring in Aothar. He is going to be our win condition against the dragon. Let's bring in Sachi. Then Thylicia. Then we'll bring in Contra. She is going to be our tank to help tank up the waves. And with the debuff extend and then the debuff spread from Thylicia, with the poisons from Aothar, with the turn meter boost from Sachi, plus her leeches, plus her accuracy debuff on her A1, Contra's going to have plenty of debuffs to work with to be able to control the enemy waves. So let's get into it and let's see how this works. I want to kind of point out here with this team before we go for total damage. Sachi was our team's healer because of that leech debuff that she's putting out. If you look at this team, I have no healing mechanic whatsoever except for Sachi. Now on the second wave, y'all did see where she went down and so did Aothar. Blind Seer picked them back up, and with that res, Sachi's passive procced, we got those fear debuffs that helped us take control of that second wave. Very impressed. Now let's kind of go over total damage here. So Aothar comes in at 2.5 million, just under 2.6, and Sachi's right there behind him. She is at 2,579,000. He is at 2,592,000, and he's the attack-based champion with a boatload of poisons. Sachi's in there with the A1. She's in there with the turn meter boost with her A2 with the attack up buff. That helps Thylicia do more damage. That helps her do more damage, and also helps Aothar do more damage. and she just helped Contra by getting the amount of debuffs out that we needed. Solid support. I've got to admit, I am impressed. I think she is a great champion. I'm not sure how she's going to work in Faction Wars, being the only Reser. Hopefully there'll be a new Shadowkin champion out that comes out between now and when that Faction Crypts opens up. That's going to be iffy. You're going to need a lot of support. You're going to have to have a lot of CC around her for her to be able to get a killing blow to get that res off. That being said, I do honestly believe she can do the job. I'm impressed with her. Let's take a look at this. And no, thank you. Let's go ahead and hop into another dungeon here real fast. And so now what we're going to do is that we're going to try Ice Golem 25. Here's the team that we're going to go in with. We're going to use Blind Seer in the lead for the defense aura. We are going to use Thylicia for defense down. We've got Sachi, of course. We are going to run, actually I think instead of Drexstar, what we can do is that we can run Aothar instead, because he's got the poisons. And then we're going to have Contra in here. She's going to help us control the waves that are passive. And she also has the attack down on her A2. So we're going to try this and see how this team works. A new best time, but just like it was with the Dragon Run, she was the only healer we had on this team. And what's really fun about this is that we did this with 3 epics. Yes, I do realize I have Blind Seer in the lead, but if you don't have Blind Seer, that's fine. You can run Sky of the Drakes, Miscreated Monster, Choose Your Poison. One of those even taken Contra's place. Contra, her whole job here was to help with the waves. And y'all saw there were a couple of times where Sachi was killed on that second wave. When she got picked back up by Blind Seer, her passive proc, giving us that fear, gave us the extra level of crowd control that we otherwise would not have had. Now let's go ahead and take a look here at the total damage. Again, we only have in this case, really 3 damage dealers. I'm going to include Alicia because whenever she extends and spreads those debuffs, that actually counts for her DPS. Not surprisingly, Aothar comes in the lead with 3 million, just because all those poisons he was bringing out. But Sachi, she comes in at a cool 2.8 million, and she gave us more than just pure raw damage. She gave us a turn meter boost. She gave us the attack up, which helped Aothar do more damage. She gave us the leech debuffs, which helped with the healing. Because again, this team doesn't have a healer. I mean, she did a good job. I am very impressed. Let's go ahead and take a look at Doom Tower. We are on normal. And let's just do a quick comparison real quick between, once again, with Alika and Sachi, and just go in. These two work so well together. It's fun. It's just a fun group. Let's just go in and take a look and see what happens. Alika comes in at 405,000 damage. Sachi comes in with 243,000. It's not a surprise. I mean, Alika is she is insane. If y'all have Alika and you're sitting on her, dust her off, pull her out of your vault, build her out. I promise you, she is going to do some work for you. I'll tell you what, let's just hop over. Whoops. Let's hop into 3v3 Arena real quick. And let's see if there's any teams here we have a chance of using her in, where we could possibly be faster. Okay, so what we'll do is I will try this, and I will cut it after this one fight. Let's just see how this works. Okay, so they have got his shield on. That's unfortunate. Let's go ahead and speed everybody up. Let's do a defense down. Oh, nope, we got to go. They did not get to cut in. So now what we're going to do, we are going to fill turn meters. Let's see if we can hit Skyle. Oh yeah, we hit Skyle. So now what we're going to do, we're going to use Alika's A2, and we're going to try and hit this Ignatius. And we dropped him right through the shield. And so now we will just auto it because we got to get through these shenanigans first. Now, one thing that's really fun about Alika's A3 is that it extends the cooldown of an enemy's skill. And because it's extending the cooldown, it's not a debuff. So a block debuffs or an immunity skill doesn't work against that, which is quite helpful. Run through to see just how things worked in the arena. I mean, she's able to do some work. If y'all saw it for yourselves, she went in, she did the turn meter boost. We didn't get a chance to do her A2 because the enemy, they of course had that block debuffs buff up, but you know, it is what it is. Can't be happy. You can't have it all your own way all the time, but as you can see though, she definitely can play in the arena to boost turn meter. Like I've said before, I like her. She's a support champion that has some teeth. She is able to go in. She's able to do some damage. Her AOE on her A1 is solid. It does good damage, but it's not broken stupid. That decreased accuracy debuff is really nice, and it comes in really handy on Doom Tower Hard. And I don't know. I mean, I like her. The one downside is, like I said, is that she does need to be booked, and my God, she likes to read. The only person on my account I think who likes to read more than Sachi is Alika, and Alika likes to read too. But I said, I mean, it is what it is. You need her to do some damage for her to hit. She is tricky to build. If you're looking to try to get her to get the debuffs out, you're sacrificing a lot of attack. And if you need her as a secondary res, or as of the time of this recording, as the only reser for the Shadowkin faction, she's got to hit. I mean, she's tricky to build. There's really no other way to put it. My advice to you would be is to build her like I did. Have some accuracy, that way you have a chance of landing those debuffs. But at the end of the day, you need her to be there for DPS. You need her to be there to land some damage. And she does some work. Well, on that note, this is Putinbot. I hope that you enjoyed the video. If you did, if you would give me a thumbs up and subscribe, I'd appreciate it. With a smaller channel like this, every little bit of support that I get is a huge help. And I will check on out, and I will see y'all later. Have a good one.